good people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
Did you just Millie Rock?
Yeah. On any block.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the Samurai. Whoa. This is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We back. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have left you.
Without a dope pod to step two.
Step two.
I mean, it's obvious that we stepped away for a little bit, but we owe you all a review of Lupe Fiasco's Samurai. One of our commenters said, "Hey, I'm waiting on the review for you all, and so we're gonna make sure to deliver. It's late, but never, but always on time."
Oh yeah, it's been cooking though. Like, I like getting more time to listen to an album. And I hope you guys appreciate the fact that we're actually taking time to really deep dive and kind of listen.
Yeah.
Because that gives better reviews than that quick thing of somebody listening to an album one day and calling it a classic.
Yeah. So we got a sponsor on this episode. It'll be Ground News, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we kind of dive into the themes of this Lupe review, I want to share that my younger brother, Prophet, has an album out, Prophecy Revealed, Part 3. The Southern Strategy is out there on for you to listen to everywhere that albums are sold, preferably Bandcamp, where he actually makes some money. And then if you want to stream it everywhere else, then you can do that. We'll leave that link down in the description and on the blog post for you to check out. And we appreciate that. So let's jump right in to the themes of Samurai. Obviously, it is what Lupe has described as an homage to Amy Winehouse, as if she were a battle rapper out on the streets. What do you think about that?
I initially was like, I thought it was just Samurai the track, and then he was going to be like a samurai all throughout. But upon like all of these multiple listens, the theming and the way he goes about sequencing the entire album, this 8-track album, was really immaculate with that theming and kept very well with like the music industry and the current state of it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think about, or is at least challenging for me to consider, is this is Lupe in his abstract form.
Yes.
And that's my least favorite Lupe form. And I always say, like, giant robot with the person controlling it, because that's what it reminds me of from Food and Liquor. Every time he goes into abstract form, it's just difficult for me to keep up with where he's headed. And what I mean by levels of abstraction is, if you think about, I don't know, drawing a face, a level of abstraction from a face would be an oval with eyes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And a level of abstraction from that would likely be, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe, how do you abstract an oval? A shape. So calling it a shape, right? From there. I think all of his abstractions or levels of abstractions are not meant for the everyday listener, and they're cool to listen to but that's what I end up just doing, is just listening.
This makes sense. And I think this is kind of like what you mean by abstract. If you're like putting it in the context of his albums and when he's in this abstract Lupe mode, I think Dragas Waves is one of those modes.
Yes.
Because I think like for what people were expecting, if you're listening to those first, I think like 7, 8 tracks on this, like he had 24 tracks on Dragas Waves. And the first half is him telling this story about slaves that have fallen off the ship, gained gills, and like, you know, they didn't just die during the transatlantic slave trade. And so that's the theming and the story for those tracks. And then it kind of goes into, you know, Don't Ruin Us, God Said, you know, in terms of drugs and stuff later on in the album, and kind of like goes away from that. But if you're not paying attention, you're kind of like, well, what happened to this part?
Yeah. So with levels of abstraction, there's the object, which is the tangible material thing. There's the experience, you know, talking about what happened.
Yeah.
And then there's a concept, right? Talking about what happened as a belief or value or a scheme. So like it's just these levels of it becomes meta. When it gets to the third level. And I think he stays in that meta level most of the time.
That makes sense, where it's like he's showing you the concept, he's also living in the concept, and then like trying to give you the experience of the concept.
Yeah. It's like constantly thinking about thinking, which is metacognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciated it for this, especially once I got it. Because initially, like, just listening to the songs standalone before you kind of get the tapestry of how he's connecting each of these songs to one another.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like the way this chorus goes. I can see the theming. And then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Because it's so small, like much like when we were listening to Samurai initially, when we didn't get the Amy Winehouse reference, we're like, oh, this is a dope story.
Yeah.
And then upon like having that revealed to us and getting the information, it's like, oh, that makes this make more sense. And so I think he did that very well through the album with the theming in a way that I was like still over the moon about. I just think he is immaculate in doing concepts.
Yeah.
It can sometimes, like you said, get to that abstract realm where you kind of lose the cognitive interest. Yeah,
because it's requiring you to think about the thinking, think about his thinking, you know what I mean, in the process. And so you have to listen so much to unpack what's happening that it becomes a little exhausting. And if anybody knows about how much our brain processes energy, we use about 20% of our energy just thinking throughout the day. So I understand what people mean by it's hard to listen to Lupe now.
But overall, I think the theming was like really great and very on point throughout the album. Quick in and out. You're 34 minutes or 33 minutes in, and it's like, all right, good.
Yeah. It's great background music too.
Yes. Because you will tune in as you need to, and it's just, anyway, Lupe is my goat. So I ain't got much else I can say on themes.
So the production obviously is soundtrack. There's not a lot much here to say. This is a jazzier version of soundtrack, right? Which is he kind of ebbs and flows. I did hear a little bit of an interesting little like flourish in Outside.
Yeah.
That was really nice to hear, kind of towards the end, a beat switch that really showed Soundtrack's range. And so I just appreciate Soundtrack on this record.
I appreciate their combination because they just don't miss.
Yeah.
They don't have something to where I'm not like engaged in terms of sonically. And the way Soundtrack goes about putting Lupe in the pockets that he needs to be in has always been amazing to me.
Yeah, it's the great producer rapper duo that I always talk about when I encourage musicians to start making music. If you're a rapper, I say go find a producer that you can connect with and never leave that person's side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and be a duo of tandem, because it makes it, you become the best you when you have a producer that understands the best vehicle to not only give you amazing instrumentation and put you in the pocket, but it also elevates your style. Mm-hmm. The only other producer that I see like with Lupe that I'm like, I would like a full album from him and this person is Pharrell. Because
That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Because the Child Rebel Soldier stuff was dope. So,
and then just any other time that he's done a song with him. Mm-hmm. You know, like I think he did I Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple others like off the top of my head, but I can't remember. But it's just like really, really dope. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Soundtrack, because he just immaculately did this in a little 8-pack that I think was really, really dope.
Yeah. So now I want to bring us to our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Ground News. So Ground News is an application. If you're tired of news bias and algorithms manipulating the way you see the world, Ground News is a perfect app to reduce that bias and analyze the factuality of your news sources. With Ground News, I monitor what's going on in the world of music, entertainment, politics, just to get an understanding of what to talk about on this show, talk about in my music advice videos, and how to discuss it. So get 15% off your Ground News subscription at check.ground.news/WPTJ. That's check.ground.news/WPTJ for 15% off your Ground News subscription. Now back to the content. So we're going to do a lyrical breakdown.
Mm-hmm. So the two songs...
I'm leaning on you for this one.
...that I've been thinking about for this lyrical breakdown, or things that I appreciated, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to rapid fire a couple things.
We can take our time a bit.
Oh, just more so.
Okay.
And more so with these, it's just like things I noticed, and then we'll break down the actual.
Okay. So you're going to like rattle them off first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, the samurai theming or the battle rap theming is all the way throughout, and the lyrical breakdown or the lyrics always come through with that, especially in samurai, mumble rap, number one headband, which, number one headband, I love that a lot in terms of lyrical breakdown, because that ties into Afro Samurai.
Okay.
Which is an anime that Samuel L. Jackson did the voice acting for. It's an amazing anime. It's real short, real quick. You should watch that and the movie. It's really dope and kind of encapsulates a lot of what Lupe's doing on this album, because I do believe that there is a duality in the lyrics between the story he's telling about Amy Winehouse and battle rapping and everything, and the also just his lyrical ability and his standing all together. But the first place I want to start, though, because I think it's the most poignant as independent artists or artists in general, is Palaces.
Okay.
Palaces in and of itself, the chorus alone, like, we've been talented all along.
Yeah, I've been so Palaces is something I heavily gravitated towards.
Same.
So this chorus is just immaculate, and I think Palaces has a connection to something that was on one of the previous albums. I can't remember which album, but I'm gonna look it up really quick. Mm-hmm. It connects to, was it his last album? I feel.
Drill Music and Zion?
Yeah, I think there's something on Drill Music and Zion that connects to Palaces, in my opinion, the theme-wise. So I'm trying to find which song it is.
While you're doing that, I'll give
Precious Things. I think it connects a little bit to Precious Things, but there's something else. So keep going.
I'm enjoying. So we've been talented all along. We think we're fortresses made of stone, but we're just palaces made out of flesh and bone, waiting on our time to shine to come on home. And then he gets into these 3 verses where in each of the verses, he's going through like a different prayer, and it's a different prayer to a different aspect of where you are in terms of the music industry. Genius does this little breakdown that I like really enjoyed. So it's like on Palaces, Lupe describes our hero's realization that perhaps fame was not everything he thought it would be, and how the longer he rises up in the world, the more he sees is the darker side of it, right? The narrator, because they're making it like in certain songs, at least from what Genius does, they denote like when the narrator and when the actual story is going on, versus when it's just a song. Because Lupe does that too. Because while I do think Cake fits thematically as you go from samurai to mumble rap, which is Amy Winehouse basically like leaving wherever she was, running into somebody and then being stuck having to mumble rap, is how I interpreted the song. And then you go into Cake, where I feel like she's having a battle rap, where she's battling Lupe.
She figures it out.
Yeah. Anyway, so he says the narrator struggles through hurdles such as attempting to appease both labels and fans, compromising his artist integrity, losing his sense of privacy, and both being exploited, as well as then exploiting others, and is structured into 3 separate verses, which the first prayer, he grasps onto the world, he becomes complicit with it, and then he continues to pray that he just doesn't have any more harm to him in this place. But the futility of it, in each of these 3 palaces, symbol vanity, being made of the most feeble materials, sand, cards, and bones. 3 verses. Despite his desire to be impervious to harm, he remains mortal and will never truly be invulnerable like a fortress of stone. Because it's like these things affect you no matter what. You know, we're flesh and bones. Like, and he basically took sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
Yeah.
And embodied that in a song and just changed the words, as he often does.
Yeah, and I think that's where, that level of abstraction is turned into, you know, the spiritual, the metaphysical, the highest level of abstraction, because everybody understands what sticks and stones is, but very few people see this as a prayer plus sticks and stones at a higher level. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And so I just really appreciated that, especially it's one I go back to the most, because it reminds me, again, we're just flesh and bone.
Yeah.
We're humans.
So here's what I want to do. I want to play a bit of it.
Okay.
And then come back and we'll do our next lyrical breakdown. Just make this a little bit more efficient of a show.
Oh, I know where we're going next to.
So here it is, Palaces from Lupe.
Bless my castle of sand, waiting on the battle sword, handle all in my hand. The war force is more toward my door with demands, more important than the fortune that you poured in my pan. From freestyling to recording advance, can you please reinforce all my borders and bands? I should've put it towards some plans. Want a forest, gotta water some plants. Normally ignoring the branch is par for the course, but when you hold a culture you can't parkour over a part. You gotta march forth over your art. And for your fans, when you corner, gotta shorten your stance. Lessen your tails, Philly shell, don't orbit a dance. You hit a bell, then report to the band and do whatever that the chorus commands. And for the grand, talented all along, think with fortresses
just pearlescent made out of flesh and bone.
Fire. That
Beat switch.
That hook, not just beat switch, but the hook is infectious.
It was at that moment that I was like, yeah, nah, this album is one of the ones for me. I enjoy it a lot more than I did Drill Music and Zion, and I did listen to that a lot.
Whew, that's a big take.
Like I don't, and I'm not understanding why. Like it took me a couple listens, because I remember when Samurai first dropped, I was kind of like, because I was looking at the video, but then I get in the car and I'm like, oh no, this is different. Mm-hmm. Then Cake comes out and I'm like, nah, this is the Lou I be talking about. And then he just supplements that throughout the album. But I think about that first verse, right?
Yeah.
And so we're thinking about this castle of sand, which, like, if you do any kind of scriptural study, like building your stuff on sand, you know that it's gonna fade away. Mm-hmm. There's no foundational grounding on that, right? And you're just thinking about all these things when it gets to the end. You hear the bell, then report to the band, and do whatever the chorus commands and for the ground. Yeah. It's just like you're doing whatever to get the fans moving, and then you're doing it for the ground. Yeah. You know, and it's like it's that superficial aspect of how music can come off when you don't have any grounding in yourself.
Yeah, you're performative at best, you just placate to the audience or wherever the wind blows you, and it's an easy way to not have a long lasting career. Yeah. So what's next?
Cake. We go on to Cake, because Lou does this thing where it's like the same thing with Samurai, right? So on first listen, without knowing the Amy Winehouse connection, you would just listen to be like Lou is barring this to death and creating a really nice story. Mm-hmm. Cake, same thing, where you're just sitting here, especially in the second verses, where I was like, here we go again with like the meta-ness, where you have to know that he is using every word with intentionality, using every aspect of it. And the portion I'm going to get to is, here we go. Well, did he do it or didn't she? Who are you mentioning? Lou will duel a dual identity, dueling enemies, do it to and chew and through without doing it gently. And when I'm like listening to that initially, I'm thinking, much like I just said, that he was referencing that maybe he was battling Amy Winehouse, right? Yeah. Gene's annotation makes this connection of, he makes reference to how Lupe is paradoxically rapping from both perspectives of Amy Winehouse and himself throughout the album, hence the contradictory, did he do it or didn't she? Mm-hmm. And then this is a duel, which is also dual in terms of like a samurai duel. Mm-hmm. And so he does it so well that I'm often awed by the fact that it's like, how do you keep doing this? How do you keep finding the layered way of speaking that is, you know, using synonyms, using homonyms, basically, because it sounds, the homonyms is what I meant to say. Homonyms and alliteration in a way that continuously pushes the boundaries.
I think it's because the imagination is unlimited, and some people tend to think that it has boundaries. It has like some clear definition to like how you can actually impress somebody. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that no, there's always going to be something new that pops up, and Lupe finds a way to be novel in a lot of ways.
And even in that, to end on the superhuman flowing through them without fueling engines with energy, this chemistry can't be they Googling endlessly, because we are. Even computers losing memory, bending mentally with the interface with the lyrical ability. And that lyrical breakdown in terms of this portion here, right? This is the clearest like connection to me to Precious Hands, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah,
because he's actually leading us somewhere versus on Precious Hands, where it's kind of like, I kind of want you to feel like you need to go look something up, but then there are other things that are right here in front of your face. there's this metaphor that I'm playing with, but also, what did he mean by this? What do you mean by that?
Is it body of work that I was thinking of?
For Palaces, probably. I can see that.
Yeah.
That's
That's the connection I was trying to make.
It could
Closet
be
full of bones. Don't try to put them back together. Try to
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Body work.
The anatomy of skin would be the Yeah. This was definitely the song, and maybe now that we've played Palaces, I want to try to find Body of Work.
Okay.
And then jump back to Cake.
Okay.
For just a second, and so.
Also,
I'll play that. What else do you have to say?
Let us know down in the comments if you want us to do a tier list of Lupe albums, because I have a ranking in my mind.
Yeah.
And we have 2 different rankings.
Yeah, we definitely do. That would be a fight.
We'd really just be arguing more so what is 1 and 2.
Abstraction versus literality. Literating.
Facts.
Basically.
It's solid evidence.
Just that's where it is. Yeah. Body of work. All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of Lupe Fiasco's Body of Work featuring Troy and Terrace Martin.
Shout out Terrence Martin recording.
Lots of full of bones, just don't try to put them back together. No, just bite my tongue so well like a scarlet letter. I've always loved you.
Quiet in the court for the courtship. Marriage of the dork and the gorgeous. Took her from the king of the corpses. He revolved, jumped a wall in the fort with the horses. This is Forto. Bojangles was tapping in Morse code. At least to the madman genius. Tap top secrets and more gold.
All of you.
From the guts of the mother, Cam Bush, a mover undercover. With a $3,000 son, she just wanna love her and somebody else to come and try and drug her. Take off the grill, she done.
Never love you.
Pills celebrating, we won. In the system, other women never knew we had it in them. This condition, when the world did they make them become?
None of you.
Cocaine and new high-tech ways, smuggle whole things.
I've always loved you.
From the control range that make radio heads with gold brains.
All of you.
They bought 84 Jags on gold chains. Developing nicks from a whole name. God is great, but it's snakes on my soul plane.
Lots of full of bones, just don't try to put them back together. And no, just bite my tongue so well like a scarlet letter. Not of me.
Yeah, I know what I'm riding home to.
Yeah, so I think Palaces is just a better rendition of this song, or like the next version of this song, because it explores the industry, it explores hip hop, it explores the golden age of hip hop, and Palaces has that connection to a body of work from Tetsuo and You.
Yeah, man, that was man. Listen, but yeah, I like, again, I'm gonna go back to the chemistry can be. They Google it endlessly. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It is an ever evolving hunt, because he's meta in the fact that he thinks about he's the rap Deadpool, in the sense that he is always looking at the camera. He's always telling you that I hear you listening. I hear you wondering what it is that I'm talking about. Does this have an even deeper meaning to this? Have I been weaving in this line in every song I've ever written everywhere?
Yeah.
You know, is the code so vast that you're just gonna like never be able to kind of solve it? And I appreciate that, because it always gives you a pick your own adventure every time you listen to a Lupe song. And that's the kind of artist that I want to be, I aspire to be. Every time I write a song, like, I want you to listen and find something new every time you listen.
Yeah.
Every time you experience life and get a new viewpoint to kind of listen to the song.
Yeah, so speaking of listening to a song, we're going to listen to a bit of Cake and then come back to talk about our favorite song singular from this project.
Nah, you gotta skip to the second verse. I don't care nothing about this. I mean, the first verse is dope. Just skip it.
I will.
I've won many things I've done, but this possibly in the closet. It's apocalypse mixed with many things I've done, but this one here, this one takes the cake. This one takes the cake. I've won many things I've done, but this one here, this one takes the cake. This shit taste like winter. Chocolate cake for dinner, birthday cake for breakfast. Slice it like a ninja. Pick up all the pieces, assemble like Avenger. Authoring is August, wordplay is December. That mean my pen is in cinders and my deliverance shivers like Siberian area shippers. Slip on the slickest icicles, drip from the tip of my scriptures. If you a ship on the trip, don't hit on the tip of my glaciers. Swim with the fish and flippers. I finish my pictures. This is what didn't get it, getting hitting the different differs. What did he do with it? Didn't she? Who are you mentioning? Lou would do a dual identity, dueling enemies. Do it to him, chewing through him without doing it dentally. Superhuman, fluent without refueling engines with energy. This chemistry can it be? They googling endlessly. Even computers losing memory, bending mentally when they interface with the lyrical ability. Things I've done, but this one here, this one takes the cake.
Your favorite can do what? Who? Man. 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 What? I don't care who your favorite is. Tell me that they can do better than Lupe. And I will tell you why they can. I'll just play this verse. Like, I gotta calm down.
Yeah, I'm not a stan,
I'm getting fired up, man.
I can't relate.
I'm getting fired up.
So that was Cake from Lupe Fiasco's Samurai. This whole lyrical exercise is hearkening back to the intro track of Samurai. Gonna give you these beautiful alliterations. And so he, like he said in that second verse, he's telling you what he's doing, and he wants you to pick up on it.
Yeah. And and it's also just, I think, the reason the first verse is not like, because that's more so like an appreciation of the fact that, like, y'all know I do this, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But I just enjoy Cake a lot. So let's
talk about our favorite song.
I mean, I think it's the same for both of us, is it not?
I don't know.
You go.
I don't want to go first.
Let's see.
See, this is why I set it up. Not for me to go first.
Okay. I mean, clearly it's Palaces. It's Palaces for me. Like, Palaces is my jam. I will run that song into the ground every day.
My favorite is Outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of left field. What is this?
It's a really great song, and I think the production takes it over the edge for me, but the hook and the melodic.
Did it take a while for the hook to get to you? Because initially, like, I felt Palaces to me is the best chorus, but Outside took a couple times for me to listen because I was like, what is this? No, but I think we should listen to it for just a second and then just kind of understand what I'm looking at. Yep.
Post-battle love, daps and hugs, raps can plug up holes in less than holistic souls. Dove off a nudge or throwed off from shoves. However, one got from above to below, or kicking and screaming and drug to the show. Will you entertain not? From robbing Nottingham plots, jauntily hip-hopping, hunting, bloody slam drops with diction and calculation. Put up your share of the tontine, plus 1,000 allowance payments. I'll be patient, Cal be tasting like your money in my pocket, mixed with chocolate chips and chopped up chicken and delicious droplets of mild sauce. That's a wild cost to risk over an opinion. I'll give you a little privacy to mull over your decision. Wait for me outside, I'll be gold. Wait for me outside, put 'em on hold. I'll be there in a minute. Persian quality like Australian airport. Souvenir shops can be a weird op to undertake. A younger cake would avoid it altogether. Like a winter home escaping.
Yeah, I just think
Yeah.
the handling of the beat gives the perfect bed to flex on, and the hook kind of brings that melody where you need a little bit of relief from the lyrics. So it's just a great balanced song.
I also like that he's like, I'm here for the smoke. Because by the end of it, when you kind of, again, I love how
Like, wait for me outside.
dog, like I'm out here.
I'm
I'm really outside.
Yeah.
Like for real, I'm outside. And at the end, he's like, when the raps are better than theirs. Like, we don't have this conversation enough because sometimes we go so much into the sales conversation. A lot of the super duper lyricists will not sell because they make you feel stupid as a common fan. And that
it's the abstraction.
Yeah,
that
and
keeps
it's
you
like-
from being able to
like, you know, because you have to do some sort of actual study.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, a lot of times it's really not that you have to like be well read or all these other things. You just have to have some kind of life experience and an understanding of metaphors and other things. But I think that's like one of the biggest critiques I have about people and listening to music is it's just like lyricists are worth it. And we have a criteria of understanding who is better than who.
Yeah.
So,
It's like reading books. So.
yep.
It's not for everybody, and you would hope more people do it. Basically.
Wow, that was a shocker. You brought that in left field.
So what's your arbitrary rating?
So what are
here?
we doing here? It is 5 chocolate cakes out of 5. And this shit tastes like chocolate cake. 5 of them mugs.
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 lines of nose candy.
Wait, what? Booger sugar? Whoa! Is that crack cocaine? That's what you're saying? Oh, man.
Rest in peace, Amy Winehouse.
Yo!
What?
Oh, man. Yo. I don't know what that is. I'm ignoring it, but yeah.
It was. I felt it was appropriate.
I mean, it could be.
It's not too soon. It's definitely
No, it's
not
definitely
too
not too soon. You know what? I'm changing my 5 chocolate cakes.
What?
I'm changing. This is for the first time. Just hold on, chocolate cake. Get off the screen.
You make me do work. What's happening?
5 Afro Samurais.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can handle that.
that works a little better for me. But
Motion graphics are tough.
what do you guys rate the album? What do you like about it now that you've had a couple weeks to listen to it? What are some things that you found in this album that maybe we missed? Put them down in the comments because I would love to learn more and more about this album. I'm definitely going to have this on rotation for a very, very long time. Go and like, comment, subscribe. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers.
Yep.
We are continuously growing. We are glad to be back. Glad that you allow us to do this, or well, glad that we do this every week. We appreciate you for coming and joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. A 1 and a 2 and
Peace.
Wait for me outside. And we just want to put the album on.